What happens when tariffs on cars push global markets to their breaking point? In 2025, we're seeing the fallout of protectionist trade policies. Here's what's at stake for the American auto industry, global automakers, and car buyers everywhere. Before we dive in, hit that like button. It really helps our channel, and it makes sure you don't miss out on crucial updates. Now let's get into it. The 2025 tariff update. In the world of global trade, tariffs are a powerful tool. As of April 2025, the United States has imposed a staggering 25% tariff on all cars not made within its borders. That means if a car is made in a foreign country, whether it's China, South Korea, or even Germany, it's now subject to a hefty tax when it enters U.S. markets. However, if it's made in the U.S., no tariff applies. For the American automotive sector, this is both a blessing and a curse. While it's great for local manufacturing, it's wreaking havoc on the global supply chain. The result? Foreign automakers are adjusting their strategies, while American companies are struggling to deal with retaliation from other nations. Just last week, China increased its tariffs on U.S. imports, with duties reaching as high as 150% on some goods, including vehicles. This retaliatory move has rocked U.S. exports, and American car makers are feeling the heat. It's a volatile situation for brands that depend on global markets, especially in China, the world's largest auto market. Ford struggles with China. Take Ford, for example. The iconic American brand just made headlines with a bold move. It has suspended all shipments of US-made vehicles to China. This includes some of its most popular models like the F-150 Raptor and the Mustang. Why? The Chinese government slapped a $150,000 tariff on American-built cars, causing prices to skyrocket. For a consumer in China, a car that normally costs $40,000 in the US is suddenly out of reach. Ford's decision is a response to the retaliatory tariffs, which have essentially shut the door on its ability to compete in the Chinese market. It's a huge blow to the company, considering China was one of Ford's largest and most profitable overseas markets. Ford isn't just freezing exports, it's restructuring its global approach. While it still ships parts to its Chinese factories for assembly, finished vehicles are no longer on the table. This policy change underscores the challenges that American automakers face when operating in an increasingly fragmented global market. The impact on Buick. Ford isn't the only one scrambling. Buick, which had been in the midst of a major comeback, is now facing a tough reality. In the first quarter of 2025, Buick sales were up nearly 40%, driven by popular models like the Encore GX and the Envision. But there's a catch. All these breakout models are made overseas. The Encore GX is built in South Korea, while the Envision comes from China. Under the current tariffs, South Korean-made vehicles are hit with 27.12% duties, and the Chinese-built Envision faces nearly 50% in additional taxes. For Buick, this means prices are about to jump, inventory could slow down, and its momentum could be lost. One auto analyst put it bluntly: if these tariffs continue, Buick might not survive. The U.S. tariffs have thrown a wrench into the recovery of a once struggling brand, and dealers are bracing for the worst. Japan's response. Japan is feeling the pressure too. The Japanese economy relies heavily on auto exports, especially to the U.S., where companies like Toyota, Honda, Nissan, and Subaru sell millions of vehicles each year. But with the 25% tariff now applied, Japanese automakers are scaling back shipments to the U.S. Some are even quietly raising prices to absorb the cost of tariffs. Behind closed doors, Japan's officials are negotiating a trade deal with Washington. In an effort to offset these tariffs, they proposed a major increase in the purchase of U.S. agricultural products like soybeans and rice. This isn't just about cars anymore. It's about the future of global trade. Washington has not dismissed the idea, and some believe this could be the key to resolving the ongoing trade war. Japan's auto industry remains on edge. The message from Tokyo is clear: negotiate a fair deal or face the economic consequences. The bigger picture. All of this, Ford, Buick, Japan, traces back to one central issue: economic nationalism. This is a strategy where tariffs are not a bargaining chip. They are the endgame. The U.S. government's goal has been to bring more jobs back to America by limiting foreign competition. But the reality is that these tariffs are isolating the US from the global economy, and retaliation is already happening. China, for example, has completely shut down one of the largest overseas markets for American automakers. Exports are plummeting, routes are collapsing, and even US-based factories are starting to feel the pressure. But it doesn't end there. Ford's internal documents suggest that if tariffs continue into the next quarter, price increases on select models are inevitable. This will lead to higher costs for buyers, fewer incentives, and ultimately, lower sales volume. Even American-made cars aren't immune. Many parts for US vehicles, engines, wiring, electronics, are sourced from places like Japan, Mexico, and China. These parts are now subject to tariffs as well, meaning the cost of manufacturing will rise across the board. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget like and subscribe for the latest updates on global politics.